video tutorial series of the wireless communication. I am your instructor Varshata. Let's start our today's lecture series. So at the end of this video, all of you will be able to learn about the diffraction. Then we will see the knife edge diffraction model that is related to the diffraction effect. Then we will see the indoor and outdoor propagation models and the models related to the indoor and outdoor propagation. So let's start with the diffraction first. So let's see what is diffraction. Diffraction, that means what? It allows the radio signal to propagate behind the obstructions. Okay, so thus one of the factor why we received the signal at the location where there is no line of sight communication. No line of sight communication is there, but still we are receiving the signal. But remember one thing, when the diffraction is there, the signal strength is decreased. Okay, so estimating the signal attenuation that is caused by the diffraction of the radio waves over hills, buildings is essential in predicting the field strength in the given service area. So when shadowing is caused by the single object, such as building, the attenuation is caused by the diffraction and it can be calculated by the knife edge diffraction model. So diffraction can be explained by Huygens principle, which says that the all point on wavefront can be considered as a point for the production of the secondary wavelets, which subsequently combine to produce the new waves in the new directions. Okay, so hence even if the region is shadowed by an obstruction, diffraction around the object's edges produce the waves that propagates into the shadowed regions. Okay, but if the diffraction is there, still the signals can propagate but with the decreased strength. So let's see the knife edge diffraction model. So as we have discussed that diffraction can be measured using the knife edge diffraction model. Okay, so knife edge diffraction can be used to estimate the more realistic diffraction effects. Okay, the obstruction is considered as a knife-like. Okay, so it's considered as that pointed obstacle is there into the path between the transmitter and the receiver. So the geometry that will be shown in the figure that we will see, the screen is assumed to have the infinite width is there. Okay, so no signal can penetrate the obstructions. Therefore, some of the rays emitted from the transmitter will not reach the receiver. Okay, so the obstacle is there. Okay, the solid obstacle is there. So it is possible that each and every signal that is transmitted from the transmitter cannot be received by the receiver. Okay, so here you can see this is the figure that illustrates the knife edge diffraction model. Here this tower you are seeing that is the obstacle in between the transmitter and receiver. Okay, and here you can see the plane surface is not there. Transmitter is there and receiver is there. It is denoted by T and R. Now transmitter is transmitting the signal. Here you can see the transmitter is transmitting the signal. Okay, and it will received by the receiver at this place. But in between there is an obstacle that you are seeing, that pointed tower is there. So when the signal is going to be transmitted, it will be reflect at the obstacle and some of the signals that will be received by the receiver and some of the signals that cannot be received by the receiver. Okay, because in between the obstacle is there. So the distance between the obstacle and transmitter that is denoted by the D1 and the distance between obstacle and receiver that is denoted by the D2. And here you can see this obstacle is known as the knife edge diffraction is there. Okay, knife edge obstruction is there. And here this we can define using the Huygens principle. Okay, so here the difference between direct path and diffracted path that is given by the delta is equal to h square d1 plus d2 divided by 2 d1 into d2. So this is the formula to calculate the difference between this transmitter and the receiver. Okay, and the phase difference is given by, that means the phi. So that is given by phi is equal to 2 pi delta upon lambda. Now we can consider phi is equal to beta delta, but beta is equal to 2 pi upon lambda. So that's why we can define the phi that is equal to 2 pi delta upon lambda. Now, so Fresnel-Kirchhoff diffraction parameter. So that is also given by the V is equal to h under root of 2 d1 plus d2 upon lambda d1 and d2. So you can define the diffraction parameters of the Fresnel-Kirchhoff using this formula. Now let's learn about the indoor model. Okay. Now when we are considering the indoor model, there are some of the alternatives are there. First one is what if you are considering the indoor models on the same floor, if you are considering the indoor models on the different floors, if you are considering the indoor models on the multiple floors, so that means what the numbers of alternatives are there, how the transmission is going place. Okay, so here the first is partition loss on the same floor. So if the partition loss is the same floor, why partition loss? Because in the indoor model, some of the obstacles are there like wall. Okay, the like a door. So metal door is there, wall is made of the concrete, wall is made of the other materials. Okay, so based on that materials, the path loss will be there and signal loss will be there. Okay, so partition loss, that is on the same floor. So propagation inside the building depends on the layout of the building construction, material type of the building, and it will be affected by the reflection, diffraction, and the scattering. Okay, now all of you are aware about all these three terms. Okay, and two paths are possible. Hard partition is there and the soft partition is there. Now here the partition losses on the same floor. Okay, here we have considered the different types of the material types. So as I told you, the different types of materials are there on the floor. Okay, so all metal partition is there, then loss will be 26 dB, and it is in the terms of the frequency, that is 815 megahertz. If the material is a concrete block wall, then the partition loss will be 13 dB and it is in the frequency range of the 1300 megahertz. If empty cardboard boxes is there, then partition loss will be 3 to 6 dB decimal, and again it is in the 1300 megahertz is there. Then dry plywood, then it is of the 0.75 inches. Then the partition loss will be 1 dB and it is in the frequency of the 9.6 gigahertz. Okay, so these are the some calculations that is done on the based on the partition material and how the losses will be there. Now second is the partition loss between the floor. Okay, between the different floors. So which are the factors that is affecting on the different partition different floor? So external dimension material is there, types of the construction, how it is constructed, then external surroundings, environment of your floor, then number of windows, how many windows are there. Okay, and next one is the floor attenuation factor, that is also responsible in the partition loss between the floor. Now here you can see this is the different calculations of the partition floor on the 1 floor, 2 floor, okay, of the different buildings on the based on the frequency, how much loss is that is given. Suppose here the Walnut Creek building is there. So on the first floor at the 915 megahertz frequency, 33.6 dB is there. Okay, and here sigma that is in given that is 3.2, and the numbers of the locations that is also given 25, and if the frequency is changed, that is 1900 megahertz, then the partition loss will be different, that is also given. Okay, so this is defined at the multi for different floor, 1 floor, 2 floor, 3 floor, etc. Now third possibility is what? Partition loss at the multiple floor. Okay, so the model is what? The erection multiple breakpoint model is used to calculate the partition loss at the multiple floor. The erection radio system model was obtained by the measurement in the multiple floor office buildings. Okay, the model has 4 breakpoints and it considers both an upper and lower bound on the both pass loss. Okay, so the model also assumes that there is a 30 dB attenuation at the D0 is equal to 1 meter, which can be shown in be accurate for the F is equal to 900 megahertz and unity gain antenna. Unity gain antenna, that means GRGT is equal to 1. At the distance D0 is equal to 1 meter, we have to consider the radius, we have to consider the frequency, that is 900 megahertz. So the attenuations will be 30 dB if we are considering this scenario. So rather than assuming a log normal shadowing component, the erection model provides the deterministic limit on the range of the path loss at the particular distance. Okay, so this Braidmark has used to uniform distribution to generate the path loss values within the maximum and minimum range as a function of the distance for in-building simulation. Okay, within the maximum and minimum distance that is defined. Let's say the figure that plots in the building path loss based on the erection model as a function of distance. So here you can see in this figure is about the attenuation versus distance. Okay, what is the attenuation? If 30 decibel is there, 50 decibel is there, 70 decibel is there, and 90 decibel is there, this is the decibel, this is the value in the decimal that is given, and here the downside it is given as a numeric value in the meter. Okay, so here you can consider if the 60 decimal value is there, 60 decibel attenuation is there. Okay, so at which meter it is possible? It is at the 10 meter it is possible, and it is about the 20 decibel calculation is there. So likewise you can see these are the numbers of different breakpoints that we can define in the erection in the building, that is the path loss model. Now fourth possibility in the indoor model, that is because of the building type, that means which material we are using. Based on that we have to calculate the this path loss. Okay, so the attenuation factor model is defined, that is the AFM model. Okay, so an in-building propagation model that includes the effect of the building type as well as the variation caused by the obstacle. It was described by the Siddle. So this model provides the flexibility, and it was shown to reduce the standard deviation, that is sigma, standard deviation between the measured and predicted path loss to around the 4 decimal. So as compared to the 13 dB when only long distance model was used in 2 different buildings. So the attenuation factor model is given by this formula that is obtained by the measurement of the multiple floor buildings. Okay, so it is given by this formula. Here you can see at the different floor the path is scattered. On the same floor different path loss is there. On first floor the different path loss is there. On the 2 floor and on the 3 floor the different path loss is there. So here you can see it is the scatter plot of the path loss as a function of the distance. And how we can calculate? So here this formula is given to you, that is PLD/dB. Okay, path loss at the distance in the decimal is equal to PLD0 at the distance D0 in decimal plus 10 and SF log D by D0 plus FAF dB. Okay, so this is the formula that will give you the path loss factor for this model. Now let's learn about the outdoor propagation model. Okay, outdoor propagation model involves the estimation of the propagation loss over the irregular terrains. That means what? Mountains we can consider, the buildings, there is very high building that we can consider. Now we are considering the outdoor environment, not indoor environment. Okay, so such as the mountain region, simple curved earth profile, etc. So with obstacle like trees, building, that we can consider as a outdoor obstacles. All such models predict the received signal strength at a particular distance or on a small sector. Okay, and which are the propagation models that you can see here? Logly-Rice model is there, Okumura model is there, and the Hatta model is there. So let's start with the Logly-Rice model. Okay, so applicable for the point-to-point communication system. Mostly it is applicable for the point-to-point communication system is that the frequency that is defined over here, that is 40 megahertz to the 100 gigahertz. So this model can work in this frequency band. Then transmission loss that can be done, that can be predicted using the path geometry of the terrain profile and the reflectivity of the troposphere. Okay, so path geometry of the obstacle that we are considering, whether it is a mountain, whether it is a building, whether it is a tree, and the refractivity of the troposphere. From the troposphere, how much signals will be reflected by. So based on that, we can calculate the transmission loss. Then signal strength within the radio horizon, that can be predicted using the two-ray ground reflection model that we have already learned. Then diffraction losses from the obstacles can be predicted using the Fresnel-Kirchhoff and knife edge models. Now, two modes of operations can be done in the Longley-Rice model. One is the point-to-point mode operation. Point-to-point prediction is that. Okay, so mostly this model is used for the point-to-point. And next one is the area mode prediction is that. Okay, so in the point-to-point, when detailed terrain path profile is available and path-specific parameters can be easily determined. Now, in area mode prediction, when terrain path is possible is not available, Longley-Rice method provides the techniques to estimate the path-specific parameters. Now, why it is not used mostly? So it does not provide a way of determining the corrections due to environmental factors in the immediate vicinity of the mobile receiver, and does not consider the correction factor due to the effect of the building and the foliage, and multipath is not considered in the Longley-Rice, so that's why it is not mostly used. Now next one is the Okumura model. So Okumura model is a widely used model for the signal prediction in the urban areas. Frequency band that we are using in the Okumura model, that is 150 MHz to 1920 MHz. Distance that is considered in the 1 km to the 100 km. It can be used for the base station antenna heights, that is 30 meter to the 1000 meters. Now, how we can find the path loss? So, finding the free space path loss, that is LF, between points of interest. So, find the median attenuation relative to the free space. That median attenuation defined as a AMU. Okay, so median attenuation AMU with the frequency f and with the frequency with the distance d from the standard curves. So, and LF, that is a path loss, and the medium attenuation AMU along with the correction factors, that known as the gain factors of the base station antenna height, that is GHTE, defined as a GHTE, and the mobile station antenna height, that is defined as a GHRE. Okay, transmitter and receiver, and the gain due to the type of the environment, that is defined as a G area, that account for the type of the tape. So median value at 50 percentile of the propagation path loss, that is defined using the formula, that is L50 dB is equal to LF plus AMU in bracket FD minus G, gain of the transmitter, minus gain of the receiver, and minus gain of the entire area. Now here, if we are considering the different value, then antenna gain will be different. So antenna gain can be calculated. Here you can see that gain of the transmitter is that if you are considering the 20 decimal, so 20 log HR upon 200. So it is possible when you are considering the 10 meter or 200 meter heights. Same way, gain of the receiver, that will be 10 log HRE upon 3. That means it will be considered when you are considering the height of that receiver antenna less than 3 meter. Same way here, height of the receiver is if between the 3 meter to 10 meter, then you can use this formula. So based on the height, this antenna gain formula you have to use to calculate the path loss. Now next one is the merits of the Okumura model and demerits of the Okumura model. Merits, that is the simplest and the best in the accuracy in the path loss prediction for the cellular land mobile radio system and the cluttered environment. Cluttered environment, that means the different environment. We are considering the terrain, we are considering the different environment also, whether it is a building, whether it is a mountain, whether it is because of the environment distortion, anything can be about. Very practical, and it is used in the modern land mobile radio system in the Japan. Now, which are the disadvantages of this? So, slow response to rapid changes in the terrain, hence fairly good in the urban and the suburban area, but not as good as in the rural areas. Standard deviation, that is sigma, between the predicted and the measured path loss, that is 10 dB to 14 dB only. Now, next one is the Hatta model. What is the Hatta model? The Hatta model is the radio propagation model for predicting the path loss of the cellular transmission in the exterior environment. So it's valid for the microwave frequency from 150 to 1500 megahertz. Okay, so it is an empirical formulation that is based on the data from the Okumura model we are considering, and it is thus also known as the Okumura-Hata model because we are considering the data from the Okumura model. That's why. The model incorporates the geographical or graphical information from the Okumura model, and it develops it further to realize effect of the diffraction, reflection, scattering caused by the city structures. Okay, we are taking the data from the Okumura model, and based on the refraction, diffraction, again we are calculating it. So additionally, the Hata model applies corrections for the application in the suburban and the rural environment. So why Hata model is used? It is applies for the correction of the application. So based on the Okumura model, the Hata model does not provide the coverage to the whole range of the frequency that is covered by the Okumura model. Okay, so here the frequency limitation is there. Then Hata model does not go beyond 1500 megahertz, while Okumura model provides the support for the 1920 megahertz. Okay, so the model is suited for the both point-to-point and the broadcast communication, and it covers the mobile station antenna height up to 1 to 10 meter, base station antenna height up to 30 to 200 meter, and the link distance that you can consider 1 to 10 kilometers. So the standard formula for median path loss in the Hata model, that is given by the L50 urban in the decimal, that is equal to 69.55 plus 26.16 log FC minus 13.82 log HTE minus AHRE plus 45.9 minus 6.55 log HTE and log D. Okay, so here the term where FC is what? It is the frequency in the megahertz from 150 megahertz to 1500 megahertz. HT is the effective transmitter base station antenna height in the meters. It will range from the 30 to 200 meter. HRE is the height of the receiver, and it is in the meter ranging from the 1 to 10 meters distance, that is between the transmitter and receiver separation area. And AHRE is the correction factor for the effective mobile antenna height, which is the function of the size of the coverage area. So you can calculate this path loss in the urban area at the 50 decimal using this formula. So in this video we have learned about the diffraction, what is diffraction, and the model related to the knife edge diffraction. And after that we have learned about the indoor propagation model and the outdoor propagation model, and the different models are there in the indoor propagation and the outdoor propagation. So thank you for watching. Remaining interesting topic we will cover in the next lecture. Thank you.